I mean, I remember the first time I tried to like actually sit and like quiet my thoughts and be still, and the whole time I was just like, leave it alone, leave it alone, leave it alone, leave it alone. I should probably pull up my notes because I'm a note taker. 133, my angel number. We love to see it. Hey, what is up, you guys? I hope you are doing well given the circumstances that is life right now. Transparency and vulnerability are very important to me, so I think I just want to start off by saying that I'm feeling depleted today. I'm feeling a lot of everything, and I'm feeling things that I know aren't mine, and it's just, I'm on the roller coaster with the rest. Oh, that was my shoulder. I don't know if you heard that. I'm riding this roller coaster with the rest of you guys, hence why I have a headband and no makeup on right now. I'm just not, But with the intensity of what life is right now, and also the intensity of the astrological weather, I figured that today I would just talk about something not that serious, not that deep. You know, my last video was about how to jump into the highest dimension. So today we're gonna take it back to the basics, and we're gonna talk about meditation. Is there a hair on my lip gloss? Well, so is poppin', what can I say? Which I think honestly holds a lot of meaning anyway, because if you don't have the fundamentals of what it means to be at peace and at center with yourself, then how are you even expected to evolve at all? So if you don't have already a steady meditation, oh wow, I just lost hearing in one of my ears. That means either I'm channeling my angels or I have a hearing problem, but both are plausible. I think a lot of times when people embark on their spiritual journeys, they automatically want to go straight to the ego death and straight to like their face to face with God and what my purpose is and all of that stuff. And while that's all incredible and you'll get there, I promise, you need to have those foundation and those basics really locked and loaded and strong. If you don't have a steady meditation practice that you're confident in, you're never going to be able to evolve in your spiritual growth. So this video has purpose, even if it's an easy way out of talking about stuff that's heavier, because I'm emotionally exhausted. But if you are into the heavier stuff, I do have a bi-weekly newsletter that you can sign up for below. I think I would put it up. Yeah, there'll probably be a link. This week I'm probably gonna be talking about some shit with all of the eclipses going on. I'll definitely be discussing. But for today's video, I wanted to address the pressing question that I feel like every person seeking spiritual truth encounters, which is, am I meditating correctly? I think a lot of times we can sort of like sit there and be open to the idea of meditating, but then thoughts come in and distractions happen, and then you start thinking about Twitter and all of the things that you have to do that day, and you think that you're not capable of meditating or that you must be doing it incorrectly. But if you are meditating correctly is a trick question. I tricked you. You are meditating correctly just by setting the intention to be meditative. There is no right or wrong. Even the most evolved spiritual gurus, they have thoughts that distract them. It's not a matter of if you are doing it right. It's a matter of what kind of meditation you are doing. I think a lot of the times when people question whether or not they're meditating correctly, it's just because they're not practicing the right form of meditation, because a lot of people think that the media's depiction of what meditation is, which is like the cross-legged with, you know, this whole thing and the Om, which is an amazing form of meditation. It's not the only form of meditation, and it may not be the most effective form of meditation for you. So in today's video, I'm going to go over some different kinds of meditations that you can do that are all equally as effective. And if any specific meditation that I discussed today resonates with you, then I invite you to start incorporating that one into your routine and see if you get better results. The common thread with all of these meditative practices that I'm going to talk about today is that they all put you in a present state. When you are present, you don't have any room to think about the past that doesn't exist, and you don't have any room to think about the future that doesn't exist. All that we really have is right now. So in whatever forms that they come, they're all sort of doing the same thing, which is putting you in your body, in this moment, in this room, in your experience at that given moment. And when I go over these different kinds of meditations, you know, there isn't like one specifically that you should only do. You know, I do a mix of a lot of these, and I do them intuitively. There are some days where I want to be more physical, and so I'll do a more physical meditation, and there's some days where I'm just tired and I just want to sit at my altar and like talk to God. And I do all of that. The whole purpose of meditation is to be able to hear your own thoughts and understand them, and allow yourself to detach from identifying with your thoughts and your fears, and sort of find your center and find your core. And it's a practice that if you keep up consistently will trickle into your daily life and eventually into the own peace that you embody in your day-to-day. People who have a regular meditation practice, I mean, you can smell it on them. There's like you can't smell it though, you really can. There's a peace about them, there's an inner stillness that they can tap into very quickly, and with time you'll find that you don't react to certain emotions as quickly. You're more present in your day-to-day, you find a deeper appreciation for the finer details in life. In fact, I have an interview that I put up that I'll also link of a candid conversation about meditation, and more specifically meditation in the Black community, so check that out. But otherwise, let's get into the ways that you can meditate. The very first method of meditation that I want to talk about is guided. The reason why I want to talk about guided meditation first is because I think if you're a beginner going into meditation, it's definitely the one that you want to start with. Guided meditations you can find all over the internet. YouTube has a ton. I would really recommend The Honest Guys or Jason Stevenson, I believe is his name. They were kind of like the first guided meditations that I did when I was easing into my spiritual practice, and there are a ton more, honestly. There are also a ton of apps that have guided meditations. I personally love Insight Timer. There is a woman by the name of Just Be Inspired who has some pretty sick meditations on there, so definitely check that out if you feel called to. Wow, this leg hair is exceptionally long. What was I talking about? Guided meditations play a lot with the idea of visualization, which is a really powerful tool as far as like law of attraction goes, but yeah, they'll oftentimes guide you through a specific like scene or scenario that will help you find your inner peace. And it's great because you don't get distracted as easily if you're following someone's directions and staying with their voice. So if you are a person who is more ADD than others and is always constantly jolting around with your thoughts, a guided meditation is a really easy way to step into the meditative world. Granted, a lot of people who begin with guided meditation slowly work their way into being able to do meditation on their own, and if that's something that you're called to evolve into, then cool. But there's nothing wrong with, you know, consistently doing guided meditations. I even have a guided meditation. Wow, did you see the arm flap? I work out, so I do my best. I personally have recorded a guided meditation which was very far out of my comfort zone but served a greater purpose that you can have access to if you join my newsletter. So that's the last plug. That's the last time I'm going to promote anything, I promise. But in conclusion, guided meditations are the shiznit. The next form of meditation that I personally love and practice all the time is a walking meditation, preferably in nature. A lot of people don't realize that meditation can take on many different forms, and a lot of those forms are physical. This one-dimensional view of what meditation is very limiting and not accurate, because truthfully what meditation is getting your mind into an autopilot meditative state, which is a state that you can easily fall into if you are doing the dishes or playing a sport that you love or doing something as simple as walking through nature and choosing to not be distracted by your thoughts or a phone or music, but rather just being present in where you are and taking in your scenery and taking in the environment. That is a meditative state. That is how you are the most open and receptive to whatever divine guidance you need to receive in that meditative state. Walking in nature, I mean, mind you, nature itself is the closest that we can get to God, I think, whichever way you deem or understand God to be. Nature is very pure, and so when you are mixing, you know, the movement of walking the repetitive movement of walking, and you're taking in all of the beauty that nature has to offer. That is the easiest way to reach a meditative state. So if you are someone who's more physical and you don't like to keep still, and like the idea of sitting still for 5 or 30 minutes and meditation scares you, walking meditation is great. And don't get intimidated by, you know, people bragging about how long they meditate and how often they meditate. You know, 5 minutes can thoroughly be just as effective as 50 minutes if you are intentional with it. So it's all about your intention. Imagine if I wasn't recording this whole time. I am, right? I am, yes. When you're doing a walking meditation, if you want to listen to some high vibe music, then you totally can. But for me, I feel like it's most effective when I let all of my senses be stimulated by the moment. When I'm hearing the birds chirping and I'm hearing the wind and I'm seeing the greenery. I mean, mind you, I live in South Florida, which, I mean, sucks for some reasons, but is great for the nature. So hopefully you live in a place where you can also be surrounded by natural beauty. Yeah, just let the trees talk to you. They have stuff to say. They really do. Thank you, guys. Thank you. There's a cardinal outside. She's encouraging me because, like I said, my battery's on low. The next kind of meditation that I want to talk about is another one of my favorites, and it is called scripting. Now, this may be controversial because scripting is more of a practice of law of attraction than it is necessarily meditation, but I find that when I am scripting, I get into a very, very, very meditative state. So I'm just gonna add it into this list. The traditional idea of what scripting is getting a journal or a piece of paper and getting into a flow state, not thinking, and just writing out what it is that you want out of life. Writing out your story in first person in present tense. So I am so grateful to be working my dream career and in my dream relationship, and you know, and I'm so happy that I get to wake up every day and do what I love, and I'm so proud of the fit and healthy physique that I've worked so hard for and that I maintain easily. And when you do this, it becomes such a fluid thing that you completely just go into autopilot mode and you lose sense of where you even are, which is what meditation is really supposed to put you in. Now, when you are scripting for law of attraction manifesting purposes, then you should definitely focus on all of the things that you want to call into your life. But if you are scripting just for the pure sense of being meditative, you can write down virtually anything. A good idea would be to just maybe talk to whatever higher power it is that you believe in and that you consistently have a dialogue with, whether that's the universe or God or the angels. Just talk to them. Talk to them about what it is that you're feeling or what it is that you want for yourself, and that will easily put you in a really meditative state. And if you're a writer and words come naturally to you, then it'll probably be the best meditative option for you. Another meditation is a group meditation. Mind you, given the circumstances of the world right now, I don't know if it'll be easy for you to find a tribe of people to meditate with, but if that is available to you, whether it's over Zoom or if you're finding a socially distant one, then meditating with a group of people is awesome because it holds you accountable, right? If you're meditating alone and you want to slip out of it, you can kind of just do that. But when you're with a group of people, you don't want to look bad or look weak or look like you couldn't do it. It pushes you to follow through and show up for yourself. So if group meditation is something that you are called to do, I think that those are incredibly effective and a really good way to feel unified within a community. So yeah. The next form of meditation that I want to talk about is the traditional form of meditation because it is still valid even if it has this reputation for being difficult, but really like sitting and letting your thoughts pass by you like clouds passing in the sky. Something that I think we should all make the effort to actively work towards, because it's not something that you're gonna master in your first try in absoluto. I mean, I remember the first time I tried to like actually sit and like quiet my thoughts and be still, and the whole time I was just like, leave it alone, leave it alone, leave it alone, leave it alone. But with time and with consistency and with commitment to my practice, now I can easily sit for like 10 minutes in my own stillness and really find my inner peace. And it's something that I'm especially proud of because I know that I worked towards it and I worked for it. So If it's something that doesn't come naturally to you, then congratulations, you're human, but actively dedicate yourself to work towards it. And a good tip for that kind of meditation is not to judge your thoughts when they come up, not to get angry at yourself if you have any distracting thoughts, but rather just don't play with them, don't engage them, just see them move by and become an observer of your own mind. And that's kind of how you will slowly but surely get the hang of controlling your thoughts, not just when you are in meditation, but rather when you are outside of meditation, because I think that's the whole point. It's a tool that you strengthen so that in your day-to-day you have the power and the control to say, I don't particularly agree with that thought, I don't identify with that thought, and I'm gonna let that thought keep it moving. That's how you find inner peace, my friends. So like I mentioned earlier, movement meditation, meditation and movement, is extremely effective, not just when you're doing a walking meditation outside, but also if you do any form of like yoga or Pilates or anything that puts you in a flow state physically, is also a great form of meditation. If you play sports, anything that has like a repetitive motion with it will be really effective. Next on the list, if you are more into the vocal aspects of what it takes to be meditative, then doing mantras or chants is a really good way of getting into a meditative state. Obviously, we all know the universal Om, which is incredibly effective and incredibly healing, but there are a ton of mantras. I'm a huge Om Namo Gurudev Namo, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha kind of girl myself. But there are a ton of mantras that you can adopt given whatever circumstance that you are working on in your meditative state, as well as there are certain chants and mantras for certain chakras. You know, if you're working on heart healing, I don't know which one the heart one is. I don't know if it's like Yam or it's not Lam. Is it Lam? I don't know. You can look it up. But there are a ton of sounds that you can make with your body to put yourself in a meditative state and ultimately heal yourself. You know, when people talk about sound healing and they talk about like crystal bowls and how that can, you know, sort of recalibrate our energetic channels, we don't realize that the most powerful sound healing tool that we have is our own voice. So when you are repeatedly saying mantras and really feeling the vibration of your own vocal cords, it can put you in a meditative state and it can heal you and really above all else empower you. Like, yeah, that's your voice that's healing you. Is that not badass? I think it's pretty badass. And lastly, but surely not leastly, the most effective form of meditation that I would say is breathing. Breathing has a ton of scientific and psychological benefits that I don't know the exact data on because I am not Bill Nye the goddamn science guy, but what I do know is that it can completely put you in a state of calm, it can regulate your heart rate, and it can put your mind on cruise control. It's one of the most healing things that a person can do to really connect with their breath. When you're breathing and when you are breathing with intention, you are really connecting to yourself and you're connecting to who you are in that moment. There are more soft and gentle breathing exercises that you can do, like breathing to a count of 5 and holding it and breathing out or whatever, but there are also more intense ones like breath of fire or, you know, any sort of kundalini exercises. There's one breath work practice that I try to do once a week that's like belly, chest, out, belly, chest, out. And it's great for relieving anxiety and also just for like completely recalibrating the person that you are at that given moment. It's very powerful and it also will, above all else, put you in a meditative state. So definitely connect with your breath, definitely prioritize your breath, definitely make sure that you are breathing throughout the day if you are ever feeling anxious or feeling a ton of emotions that you don't know how to deal with when they come up. Just kind of let them flow. And those are the meditative practices that I can come up with off the top of my head. There are a ton more, and none of these practices are more powerful or better than the other. It is a matter of what works for you. But above all else, I just ask that you don't judge yourself. It's a journey, it's a commitment. You can't expect to meditate once and be at peace and ease for the rest of your life, just like you can't shower once and be clean for the rest of your life. So it is a commitment, and it is a consistency, it is a routine, it is a dedicated practice. You'll get better with it. You'll get better at it with time. So don't judge yourself, and allow yourself to fail, and allow yourself to get back up and keep trying, because as long as you have that intention that you want to reach a meditative state and that you want to, master the art of what meditating is for you, you'll get there. That's the first step. Queen, I love you. I'm rooting for you. And that's basically it. Like I said, I have a guided meditation that you can get if you sign up for my newsletter. There are a ton of apps that you can download, a ton of YouTube videos. But above all else, just know that you are doing your best, and your best is always good enough. So I invite you to take some risk, to play around with different meditative practices that I've mentioned today, and see which one resonates with you. Because trial and error is how we learn, baby. So I hope you have a wonderful week, a wonderful weekend, a wonderful whenever you are watching this, and I hope that you are honoring yourself and honoring your emotions. I had a lot planned to do today, and I'm not feeling all that called to do it, so I'm probably just gonna lay down, and I'm really excited about that. If you feel called to, please subscribe, visit my website, follow me on Instagram, sign up for my newsletter, and all of that jazz. Stay blessed.